Hey guys, Professor Goodman here. I'm going to tell you guys about the recommended procedure for doing your homework and reading assignments on Lagunita, Stanford. So this might be a little different than your usual class that uses online resources. If you're an online student, then it's all online. Um, but if you are a student in class, this might be new for you if you have only attended classes that have never used online resources or have used online resources but only from uh, one source. Well, for this class, for Math 1070, the way it is taught now is there are two different internet sources that you're going to be using throughout the entire course. So one of those, of course, is what is called the Stanford's Lagunita. That is where you will perform your reading assignments. So that's where you'll have all your reading materials for all of the content you go through weekly in this course. And then, of course, for the homework, the actual more difficult homework questions will be on a website called www.emath.com. That is where you will do all of your homework, and that is where your tests and so on will be during your specified test weeks. So here's the actual recommended procedure in case you're like, whoa, I don't know, should I do Lagunita first? Should I do eMath first? Should I mix them in? You might be one of those people. Or you may already say, hey, I've got this. I already know how to do all this stuff. I don't need anybody to tell me what to do. If you're one of those people, then perfect. Do whatever works best for you. But in case you're one of the people where you're like, I'm not really sure what I want to do, or you're like, I have no idea, here is a recommended procedure for doing your homework and reading assignments on Lagunita. Again, remember there's no real right answer. I've just found that this is kind of the best way to go about doing this. Okay, so this is for, of course, doing your homework on eMath, and then your reading assignments on Lagunita, right? So this should say homework on eMath. So here we go, step 0. So step 0 just means, this is the first thing that you will do. Most of you guys, you can kind of skip this in this procedure because this is just implied you're doing step 0. If you are actually in a class, so you're actually in a physical class setting where you meet for lectures, your first step, of course, or step 0, is you attend the lecture. You read the weekly announcements. So if your professor or your teacher sends weekly announcements, make sure to read those for important updates regarding class information. Or, of course, your course materials. If your professor posts all of your materials online, go through and read all of those. Those are extremely useful. So, of course, if you're an online student, this is all you've got. So the course materials and weekly announcements, make sure you focus on those. You don't really have you don't have to attend lecture because you don't have lecture. All right, so step 1, this is the actual step 2. Once you've finished step 0, so you finished all that preliminary stuff, now we go on to step 1, which is the actual, okay, now you have to do this stuff. Like, this is the homework and everything you will have to do. So your first step is to log on to the Stanford Lagunita website. This is where you'll find your reading assignments, right, for your reading assignment grade. One way to do this, if you don't know how, either you can take a direct link if it's been posted in iCollege or whatever system. It used to be D2L, but whatever system that GSU uses now. You can Google Stanford Lagunita as well. So either take the direct link on iCollege or from email from whatever your professor sent you, or just Google Stanford Lagunita. If you only Google Lagunita, then you're going to be taken to the first couple of links will be websites that are dealing with Lagunita's IPA or Lagunita's beer, so the brewing company based out in California. So make sure you do Stanford Lagunita because if you are looking up a beer website, it's probably not going to help you with your homework. So that's how you do that one. So that's step 1. Okay, now step 2 complete all your exercises. So the learn by doing, did I get this, SPEs, all of that stuff. Make sure you do all of them, right, for your full credit. And then there should be it's pretty blatantly obvious, like I think it's its own, there's like a tab for this itself, but make sure also you complete the checkpoint, right? So you do that for every one of the sections, all right? So like let's just say for example it's section 3.1, right? Okay, so you do all this for section 3.1. Once you finish this, once you reach the checkpoint and you finish the checkpoint, you can go to step 3. So this even says once you finish the checkpoint, you go on to the homework on eMath. So either you can take the link from Lagunita. Lagunita will provide links to eMath, right? So a direct link to the homework. Or if the link either doesn't work or it sends you to like a website, a previous one, and it's like, hey, we can't find you, like you can't get in, or maybe the link just isn't there. You can just simply, Google search eMath, right, and then you can sign in, or sign in if you have it, if you have the link, if you have the website saved or whatnot. So just get to eMath and sign in. Okay, so step 4, complete all the homework on eMath for the section of reading assignments you've just finished on Lagunita. So if you only finished the reading assignments, right, to 3.1, so if you only finished 3.1 section on Lagunita, just do 3.1 on eMath, because if you start 3.2 on eMath, it'll be going over the stuff that you have not read yet. So the information that maybe you do not know, it's best not to guess on how to do these problems. It's best to start with Lagunita so you know how to do them. It'll be most beneficial for you. Okay, and then of course step 5 is go back to Lagunita and then repeat steps 2 through 4 until all sections are completed for the week. So that means do step 2 again, so do all the exercises on Lagunita. Step 3, go back to eMath. Step 4, complete all your homework. Do this until you've finished all sections for the week. Sometimes you only have one section, then you only have to go through this once, right? Because you've completed all the sections for the week. But sometimes you'll have up to 3, maybe 4, or even 5 if you're a summer student. You might have 5 sections or 6 sections to do per week. So make sure you do every single one and just repeat this process for all of those. So that's how you do it. That's the process for you guys. I kind of want to give you a concise step-by-step process in case you don't know how to use this. But let's go ahead and look at it now. Okay, so this is how I would do it. So let me minimize Excel, and let's hop on over here to the Stanford Lagunita. Okay, so I signed in. This is what it looks like when I sign in, right? It might show your course. You click on the course, right, and then it should be summer for you guys. And now it says, hey, welcome. So click here. It might be kind of strange because there's not like a whole lot of stuff here. It just says course updates and news. There's usually nothing here. There's a resume course button. Nah. Just go like this. So as soon as you see these little options up here, click on course. It might look different for you because this is I'm viewing it as staff, but these should be the same whether or not staff or student. Okay, so here are the chapters, right? So depending on what part of the semester you're in, you may be able to see all of these. You may only these beginning ones. You may be a part in the semester where you're only able to see like 4 and 6 and 7 or so on. Okay, so let's just look at this. All right, so let's go to, I don't know, for example, let's just go to chapter 4. Okay, so I open up chapter 4. It's about sampling. So I look at I open up the chapter 4 and I click on the first guy, sampling. Now, of course, Lagunita is a little slow, so make sure that you give it plenty of time, practice some patience. Okay, so this is sampling, so here's all the reading, right? So it says recall the big picture and so on. Now you read all this information, tells you all about sampling, right? And related definitions of sampling. Okay, so then once you read all of this, right, so just read all of this, then hit this next button, or you can go up here. See, there's this, all the pages you need to read. So if you want to get full credit, you got to do all these pages. So go to this next page. Okay, more reading to do. Here's an example. more reading and so on. You can hit next. And here we go. So now we're going to actually have to do some things. So here's an example. Now here's the did I get this? So this will ask you a question about what the example's doing. So what kind of sampling technique is being used in this scenario. So read through the example and then you select your answer. So I'm just going to guess. So it says, like, I don't know, let's just do cluster sampling, okay? So of course it's not going to let me have a submit button because this stuff is already passed. But this is what you would do. You'd select one of these guys and then a message should show up that's green. Let me actually go to something that is current. I believe this is what is currently going over right now in the summer course. Let's see if it will do this for me. But you basically read through, do the problems, but let me see if I can actually show you what it looks like. Here we go. So see, this is what it will look like. See, when I was looking at the earlier chapter, it had already passed in the summer semester because I'm making this video mid-semester. So it didn't look like this. This is what it will look like when you're doing current homework. So if you're doing like, oh, I'm supposed to be doing chapter 8 homework, this is what it's going to look like, right? Or reading assignments. Okay, so what you do is you read through the question and then you just select one of these. I didn't read through it, so I'm just guessing. Okay, and of course it's incorrect. So see, it says this, and then it will tell you it's incorrect, and this is why it's incorrect. So it says, now let's read the question to get it right. Which of the following represents the probability that a randomly chosen female has pierced ears? In other words, what is the conditional probability that a randomly chosen student has pierced ears given that the student is female? All right, so then here, what is the probability that chosen has pierced ears given the student is not female? So not female would mean, or is female would mean not male, right? So let's do this. Correct. So see, now look, I answered the question a few times, right? So I did this and I got this incorrect and this incorrect. Don't just leave it as incorrect. If you're like, oh, dang it, I didn't get it right. Make sure that you get this green check next to your answer so that you get the credit for this problem. Because see, look, if I do incorrect, it says 1 point possible, doesn't tell me I got that point. But now if I do E given not M, so the actual correct answer, look, it says I got 1 out of 1 points. So make sure that when you're going through this, answer to the best of your ability at first. If you get it incorrect, read through the question again and try to get it right. Maybe read this little thing is good too. So that's how you do all of these, right? So you go through all these guys, make sure you answer all the questions, go through all of these, and then at a certain point you will get to a checkpoint. So see here, chapter 8, checkpoint 1. So the first checkpoint, or maybe the only checkpoint for chapter 8. So this will just be maybe a question or a series of questions. So here you can say, all right, based on everything you've already read, right? So you go through all of these, answer every single one. Once you get that all correct, look at this. Here it says eMath. So here is the corresponding eMath homework to the chapter that the chapters and all the work that you just finished. So you click on this guy, and here is a link. So you click on the link, and of course it tells me to sign in. I should already have signed in, but this is what will happen. It'll ask you to sign in. I've already signed in, so I'm just going to hop on over to this. So it should give you a direct link to your assignment. Of course, if you don't have that, you can click on assignments, and then you can look at all of your assignments that you need to do. That was I just did 8.1, so I need to go back to chapter 8.1. Okay, so then you would click on take the assignment, right? Right, so then you would do that, right, and you finish all of your homework. So you do all the homework. So let me show you what that would look like. Of course, it looks different for me because I'm in instructor mode right now. Okay, so then here you'd answer some of your questions, right? So it would be, you've seen this kind of stuff before if you've ever done anything with an online resource or online homework system. You'd put something in here. That's definitely not right. Check answer. And it will say your answer is incorrect, which I hope it would be because it should be a probability. This is definitely not a probability. So see how it throws something in here, and then you'd wait for this to say correct, and then you move on. Do all of these problems. Once you finish your chapter 8, go back to Lagunita, and see now I've finished this eMath part. Go on to 8.2. Right? So then once you finish 8.2, do 8.3, then here's another checkpoint, then do the next homework, right? So that's the process for, or the procedure for doing your Lagunita work and your eMath work. So I'd start with Lagunita, do everything up through the checkpoint, and then when it gives you the link to eMath, either take that link, or if the link doesn't work, just go to eMath and do the homework that just went over the reading you did, right? All right. And that's the procedure that I would recommend. Of course, again, you don't have to do this if you don't want to. If you have another way, then that's perfect too. But I wanted to make sure that for those of you that aren't exactly sure how this class works, that you have a good understanding of at least the procedure for doing all of your homework on eMath and your reading assignments on Lagunita. I hope this helps.